The 1997 semifinal tie between Australia and the USA, Philippoussis and Sampras from Washington, D.C. Mark Philippoussis, known for his booming serve, in 1997 hit a personal best 142 on the gun, 9 career singles titles. At this stage of his career, a player on the rise. Pete Sampras, no one in the history of tennis can match his unparalleled Grand Slam success, 14 victories in major competition.
15 now.
This is Brian Weber with Murphy Jensen, the French Open doubles champion. This the second rubber between the USA and Australia earlier in this day of play. Michael Chang defeated Patrick Rafter.
Both of these players play very fast. Two huge servers playing here.
What a 1997 it was for Sampras. Winning the Australian Open, winning Wimbledon, the Grand Slam Cup, and stops in Cincinnati, Philadelphia, and San Jose on the ATP circuit.
He definitely found his rhythm this year.
40.
Mark Philippoussis has always enjoyed playing Pete. Loves playing against the big servers. Remember seeing him play in Hong Kong against Pete. Both of these guys are going to be banging the ball.
And head-to-head at the time of this meeting, these guys had met up 5 times, and Sampras had the small 3-2 edge.
Okay.
Quick work in the initial game. We're just getting started in this classic. Hang with us on the Tennis Channel. Philippoussis to serve, trailing 1-love in the first. In 1997, he was still completely healthy after this run. Started a series of knee injuries and some time off because of subsequent surgery, but made it all the way back to the finals in Wimbledon 2003, losing to Roger Federer, and through it all, having that huge serve.
Both of these players are big servers. They're going to be relying on holding serve. Both players serve enormously on the second. That's something to look at. They don't really take any pace off the ball.
15 all.
15 all in 97. Philippoussis, 3 titles in 5 finals.
Having a great year this year. Going for that second serve, he's going to be making a lot of double faults. But he plays the points. Each one knowing that it's 133 in the course of a game. He has enough confidence to know that he might double fault once or twice a game. If he's serving 133, it's not coming back.
And just about a year later, August of 98, Philippoussis played Rafter, his countryman, in the U.S. Open final.
Had a chance in that match. Pat Cash was coaching him at that time.
30 all.
But the Aussies have always stuck together. It's been a long tradition of that as well. You got Tony Roach coaching Rafter, Pat Cash coaching Philippoussis.
And the legend John Newcomb, the captain of this Davis Cup squad.
40-30.
Tom Gullickson heading things for the USA.
Pete Sampras is just trying to get a racket on these serves. He's not trying to do much, but get it back. And play for the next shot. He might move in and chip in charge, and it's a little bit more of a finesse game once they get that ball back.
booming away.
Game, Australia.
Pete Sampras
1 game on.
having a chance there in that point. But the scud holds on. Mark Philippoussis. Early in the match, they're just going to feel each other out, see what's working. You know, early in the match, they want to get their serves warmed up. Even at 133, they're quite warm on this sunny Washington, D.C. tennis court with an ace. Pete Sampras loves the T-bone, and what he does
15 now.
is he sets up the wide serve. There's Tom Gullickson, the captain, Team USA. Likes to go down the middle. There's another T-bone. It's 2 aces. 127. What makes Pete so good is that both serves are very, very consistent, and he backs it up with great volley play.
Well, he's an athlete, we know that.
Yeah, the guy can dunk a basketball. That's his
40 love.
air Sampras, letting it go. A lot of kids around the country, I play in these matches, and you see all the juniors hitting that shot. Even when the ball is below the net, they're jumping up like Pete Sampras. It's really neat. See the effect he has on American youngsters.
Game, United States.
That's out. Another quick game. Should have good tempo in this matchup. Sampras and Philippoussis. California connection between our players. Sampras, big name in Los Angeles. Philippoussis with a home in Cardiff by the Sea in 1997.
Thank you.
Another headline from the judicial world.
Quiet,
The
please.
civil case against O.J. Simpson.
It's a great first serve
15 off.
by Mark Philippoussis. Team Australia looking to get a victory. Mark's key serve is the big, powerful, flat kick wide in the ad court. Pete doesn't like to return balls above his shoulder blades.
15 on.
Double fault. Philippoussis 6 feet 4 inches tall. Towering figure.
You know, but it's a tough part of the net to go there because it's the high part of the net, low percentage serve.
30-15.
But you know, with these double faults, he responds with aces. Both of these players are going to be serving first and seconds, throwing everything into it, setting up their big forehands. Very similar players.
Philippoussis, the 95 ATP Newcomer of the Year. Good athletic genetics. His father, Nick, a soccer goalie and a close confidant and teacher and coach at times for his son, Mark.
Well, the way his father coached him as a junior was to hit every ball as hard as he could. He always practiced serving
30
as hard as he could, hitting forehands as hard as he could. And that was the same strategy Bjorn Borg had. So in a match, he can always tone it down. That's how he developed huge power.
More power.
40-30.
That ball is coming so fast. Pete really can't take a swing or set up and step into it or anything. He just puts the racket hoping to block it back.
Is there any strategy when it's coming in that quickly?
Just get it back. You're basically playing defense. It's like protecting your goal if you're a goalie. And there's Pete Sampras with the hands, the feel. Mark didn't judge it correctly, but
Juice.
when the ball return is high like this, there's Pete blocking it back, unsure. But Pete right on the line.
Deuce.
I mean, the way Mark serves, it's as if he wants to knock you down.
Bad intentions.
It's his
Advantage,
third
United
double
States.
fault of this first set. Captain John Newcomb.
First serve.
It's a great advantage for Team Australia to have John Newcomb looking on because he's played in so many ties, so many big matches. He's not going to get rattled. He's seen it all.
Correction. Deuce.
Overrule from the chair, and it's deuce.
And in a situation like that, that is deemed an unreturnable. And the thing is, that could be a questionable situation. Pete's looking at it. What makes him so great is he just shakes it off. It's just another match, another point.
Well, sometimes critiqued throughout his career for being stoic and not having a glowing personality, but a strength on the court.
You know, he likes to sneak through draws. When he won the U.S. Open, who's this 17-year-old kid from Palos Verdes, California, just sneaks his way through, kind of like Stefan Edberg played his career.
What a shot!
You know, he lets his racket do the talking like he did in that point. He's going to let his big forehand
Advantage.
pistol
United
Pete
States.
here. Philippoussis on this back foot and inside out down the line. He could have gone either way, but he just pulled it.
Advantage Sampras. Some observers in the tennis world wanted him to be Connors or McEnroe when it came to personality, but Pete was always himself.
Yeah, Pete didn't have much to say. He liked to do his interviews, make them brief, talk about tennis. His private life was always his private life. You know, he had a lot of, there were stories about how he liked the air conditioning at a certain level, that he traveled with his own sheets to stay cool.
Can't argue with the results.
Like cotton, yeah. So I started doing it and didn't work, but
Well, you got one Grand Slam title.
yeah.
You needed better sheets.
You needed the better sheets. I had like 10 thread. Singles players have like 10,000 thread.
Second
Pete
serve.
Sampras was coached at a young age by the great coach Robert Lansdorf, who mentored Tracy Austin, among other stars. There's an unforced error by Mark Philippoussis.
Advantage. United States.
Break point for Pete Sampras. Not a place Mark wants to be in. And this is the time where Mark Philippoussis was having problems deciding whether he wanted to represent his country, Australia, for Davis Cup. And in this tie, they obviously worked things out. Second serve, big opportunity.
Okay. United States.
And that's 4 double faults and a break for the United States.
And it's early.
United States lead 3 games to 1.
3-1 Sampras. You mentioned the tutelage he received as a youngster. First picked up a tennis racket that he found in his family's laundromat in Maryland before they came to Southern California. Worked with Mr. Lansdorf, and then it was a family friend, Dr. Pete Fisher, a pediatrician and a big tennis enthusiast who, at the age of 13, began mentoring Sampras and impressed upon him to play like Rod Laver.
Love 15.
So it's fitting that the U.S. would meet up with Australia in this Davis Cup tie.
I sat with Rod Laver at the Italian Open watching one of Pete's matches, and the Rocket said outside of the fact that Pete is right-handed, he could see himself in a lot of Pete's strokes,
15 on.
having the big roundhouse forehand. Rocket Laver would do it with the left hand, where Pete would do it with the right hand, and he really enjoyed watching Pete.
And Sampras went so far as to abandon the two-hand backhand and went to the Laver-esque one-hand, and it took him a good year to make the adjustment, but it paid major dividends.
First serve.
Just gave him more reach. You know, when he was taking all these losses in the junior ranks with me and his competitors with Agassi, and in the long haul, it paid off huge, as you were saying. Here we go. That's a really firm first volley by Pete Sampras, setting up the 1-2 punch.
So since you're a contemporary of Sampras, did you have any conception that he would be as good as he proved to be?
You know what? He was playing 2 age groups ahead. When I was 12, he was 10, and we always played with him. At that time, he was a little smaller than the other guys, and we called him Sweet Pete. And then the power came in at 17 in the U.S. Open title. He became Mr. Sampras. And then on to Pistol Pete, and he became a superstar. But yeah, he always was so clean. I've always argued that he should have kept his two-hand backhand on return of serve, because returning his backhand side is really his only weakness. And he had a great two-hand backhand, one of the steadiest players as a junior player. Never won a national junior title, I don't think, and he always played up. He always played up with the big boys, and eventually that paid off. And he, you know, being a young guy, he was never afraid to play at 17. So what? You're Ivan Lendl. You know, he actually was a training sparring partner with Lendl early on at 15, 16. Dr. Fisher hooked him up. He's always looking for the better competition.
He's got it from Sweet Pete to Sir Slam, up 4-1 in the first over Philippoussis. Big serves, the order of this September 19th, 1997. Brian Weber, Murphy Jensen with you for a Davis Cup Classic. USA, Australia, semifinal tie from Washington, D.C.
That's a great setup for Mark Philippoussis. Starting with a serve. Instead of trying to win it on one shot, let the ball drop short, take his big forehand, and hit a winner.
There's a winner as well.
Pete's on fire early in this best of 5. It's always good to get an early start, but it seems like Mark is a little sluggish getting caught in no man's land. That's the spot in between the service line and the baseline. He hit his first volley. That's Pete's weak side is the backhand, but he still goes for it. That's where I think the two-hander, you've got to be so strong to lift that. That was a slice backhand approach by Mark Philippoussis. And that's the kick, the Mark Philippoussis kick that gets up way above Pete's shoulders, and it's difficult to get it back down low.
Game point opportunities for Philippoussis.
See, once again, caught in no man's land. Instead of taking that volley out of the air, he's coming in slow. Pete's just blocking that back and watching Mark instead of maybe stay back for the first shot. That is an excellent return by Pete Sampras. Mark serving 135 miles an hour. Pete's just behind it. He serves this type of heat, so he understands the big server mentality, when it's a good time to go for it, where to go for it.
Deuce. Down the line. Inside the line.
Very nice. Pete Sampras on the run a couple points ago, but look how he gets the racket back early. He's running with the racket back. And then all he has to do is swing through, find the open court, winner. Great opportunity for Pete here. Get another break. Oh, Pete Sampras, one of the steadiest players at one time from the baseline. Gave up a great opportunity, but now just going for a little too much on that last shot.
Advantage United States.
Add USA.
Second serve again. See what Pete's going to do with it. Unbelievable forehand. Mark Philippoussis, known as the Scud again, has so much power and so many weapons. Here he's pushing Pete deep, set this huge forehand, just painting the lines.
And Philippoussis, a stud. One of the most telegenic players on the circuit.
United States.
A hit with the ladies, as they say.
Yeah, wasn't he voted in People magazine as one of the sexiest men alive? What year was that?
I can't remember because I'm still miffed that I just missed the balloting.
No, you had it.
I was close.
You were close.
I was one of the sexiest
Well, you don't
people.
you don't serve like the Scud at 124. It's really something to have so much power in your serve.
I'm waiting for the sexiest people of the tennis channel. I have a good chance there.
Advantage Australia.
Advantage, Philippoussis.
You know, he's got the Greek thing going on.
In fact, we can't see it because he's not sporting a short sleeve outfit, but Philippoussis has a Alexander the Great tattoo on his right arm. His Greek heritage. Reaches out but can't do much.
See, Pete Sampras is making Mark work extremely hard for every point. Here's the setup. Gets Mark off-footed. Doesn't have the weight behind him to make that shot. When you're dealing with a big boy like Mark Philippoussis, you want to keep him running.
Deuce 5.
Great move by Pete Sampras to get another break point. Second serve opportunity.
Advantage United States.
Serve landed short. He knows all I have to do is get in, put some pressure on Mark. Mark doesn't have the Agassi-like passing shots. He's just full throttle power.
What a shot, and Sampras flashes some emotion.
And that's all she wrote. That is why Pete Sampras has won so many big championships, was his signature running forehand.
United
Up
States
5-1, and Sampras so sensational on the fast surfaces like the hard court we have on this afternoon in Washington, D.C. But why do you think clay was his kryptonite?
Well, like I said, he can't handle that high backhand.
Thank you. Quiet,
And he
please.
never really
Ready
took the time to develop a clay court game. He didn't play the entire clay court season. He might come in for a tournament or two
15
prior to the
now.
French Open. What he didn't do, what Lendl did with his tournament he could not win. Lendl could never win Wimbledon. Lendl, though, changed rackets, became a volleyer, took up golf, fell in love with grass, but grass just wasn't his thing. And there Pete goes again.
He's Gene Kelly.
He loves to jump. This
30 love.
American crowd loves to watch Pete Sampras. Pete loves to play Davis Cup. I think this is always one of his biggest fears, was playing Davis Cup early on. He played against France, and the crowd was so loud. What a shot. That's a serve. Texas T-bone. Pete Sampras, 128. He was playing in France, and it was so noisy, and it was his first final and didn't know where he was. So the captain put different practice partners and teammates in all sections of the stadium to keep Pete focused. Like, he didn't know to switch sides, couldn't hear the score. But after that
14,
match
15.
and the big victory, and he played with John McEnroe in the doubles, fell in love with it.
Sampras would set points here, even with the double fault.
It looks like Pete's having trouble with his grip, constantly
40-30.
toweling off. Excellent return by Mark Philippoussis, just keeping it low. Quick return. Pete's still got a game point. He's going to look for a big first serve.
Game, first set, United States.
Game and set to
16-1,
Sampras.
new ball series.
In total control to start this matchup. We're coming back on the Tennis Channel. Sampras dominating the first set, 6-1. September of '97. And Sampras kept on rolling his ultimate crown. Number
New ball.
14. Grand Slam victories. U.S. Open, that unforgettable match in 2002.
Mark just getting clobbered here. He's got to regroup and find his serve and his mojo. That point was a little better.
15
He's
love.
actually hit his first volley out of the air. Gonna let the ball drop. If he's gonna let it drop, don't serve and volley.
Quick first set.
32 minutes on the old Rado Swiss watch sign. Both of these players play extremely fast. They don't like to walk around and stall. They like to get up there and let it ride. Pete Sampras. That is his weakness, but obviously this year he's
15-on.
been on his game. Takes this ball early and just blocking it down the line. This guy can find the lines. Out in front. Looked like a bird there flapping his wings, but he's really just getting his shoulders turned and weight transfer behind the ball. That's why Pete Sampras has won 14 Grand Slams, because when he's on, he's got
15-30.
everything. Here's another great return of serve. He sneaks on in, and he goes inside out with that volley. Tough, tough volley. It's a great shot. It wasn't the percentage shot, but he went to Pete's weakness, his backhand. And he knows his power of the forehand is going to pay off, but at this point, he's on his heels in every game.
30 all.
Unforced error by Mark Philippoussis. He's just getting it back. Thing is, when you're playing a guy that's playing as well as Pete is right now, you come out here with your plan A, and it stops working. What do? You've got plan B. You know, he's always going to have that serve. That's his foundation.
Deuce.
But Pete's in his kitchen every game. He's at deuce. He wants to make Mark work for every service game and win those service games of his own easily.
Comes behind the serve.
It was a great serve, still having trouble
Advantage,
getting in
Australia.
quickly. Hit his first volley around the service line. Here's the serve, the cannonball out wide. He stops and looks at it, making it a little bit more difficult for himself. I mean, it sounds like a cannon going off every time these guys serve. And Pete keeping the pressure on Mark Philippoussis, Team Australia. They must have a win here after Michael Chang had a great victory in the first rubber. Over Patrick Rafter.
Advantage, United States.
Double fault.
The double fault has really been the story. Mark's serve breaking down. Pete playing flawlessly. See if Pete can capitalize on that double.
Game, United States.
And that's the game.
First game, second set.
Everything continues to work for Pete Sampras with the early break in the second. Now to serve, already up a set over Mark Philippoussis in the fall of 1997. Two Davis Cup Titans, USA and
15.
Australia, their names all across the record books of this storied international tennis matchup. An ace in 1997. Sampras
30 long.
joined Jimmy Connors as the only players to finish #1 for 5 consecutive years. Sampras ranked #1 every week throughout this year for the second time. Also did it in 94.
40 long.
And he can't miss here.
Pete Sampras up a break in the second set on a roll. Serving huge. Mark Philippoussis better find a new strategy.
Game, United States.
You know, John Newcomb's over on the sideline shaking his head. And there's the team. 2-0 in the second set.
Newcomb might want to get out there and play.
Yeah.
He's got the uniform on.
Get him out there with the great mustache. Bring out the wood rackets. Oh, barely missed it, Pete Sampras. He is playing so well right now. Mark's got to work extremely hard just to get points. There's Pete showing his consistency from the baseline. A lot of people think he's just a server or he's just a volleyer. And having played with him, the guy's got great ground strokes and they're so heavy.
There's that serve, and we were talking about Sampras as a junior. It's so interesting to see when junior play can be an indicator of future success. If you look back in Philippoussis' career as a doubles player, in '94 in junior play, won the Australian, Wimbledon, and Italian juniors. So he was well on his way just a few years back.
Absolutely. Pete Sampras always played up in the age groups, as I was saying. But he was always consistent. He was a big baseliner, smaller than the other guys. So playing from the baseline, I mean, Mark is struggling. Can't find any range.
Here comes Sampras and watches it sail past him.
Yeah, but he'll take those chances all day long. There's Tony Roach, Pat Rafter's coach. It's nice everyone's cheering on their boys. That's a perfect passing shot. Great approach.
Sampras on the attack.
There's that forehand. What people don't understand is that Pete Sampras, the technology in his equipment, he uses a very, very heavy racket. Uses a 18 gauge VS Gut string. That's why he's always playing with those strings, because they're popping. By having that heavy racket, he's able to just put the racket behind the ball with little effort, and it takes off like a heavy bat in baseball or a cork bat like Sammy Sosa. But
Pete's legal.
Pete's legal. Here we go. Great opportunity for Pete Sampras.
And look at the stars and stripes all over this FitzGerald tennis facility in our nation's capital. Break chance, Sampras. Philippoussis answers.
I mean, that's Philippoussis at his best. Serving the big bomber. Huge serve. Setting up the forehand. Nobody's home. Pete, come on. I mean, even with those big serves, Pete's reacting. You know, when a guy's on and he's feeling it, it's almost like they can play blindfolded and just understand where the ball's going. And when they touch it, it's gold.
Sampras always had the sneaky speed. Didn't look that fleet of foot, but managed to get there. Net cord. Sampras reaches out, but long.
Well, that's a bad error. Pete just misjudged that. When he gets up there and gets fast and touches the net, you've got to be quick. They've always questioned Pete's stamina and endurance, and it's difficult for him because he wins so many free points. And he wins easily, so if a player can get him into a 5-set match, he has been known to struggle but never give up.
Although, didn't you see him in junior play a match that never ended?
Yeah, and the 16 and under Kalamazoo Nationals, which is the Super Bowl for junior tennis in America. He was 14 playing up in the 16s, and he played a match that went, I think, 22-20 in the final set.
Wow.
And became Wendy's Player of the Day. And I was always jealous because I wanted the free triple that in Frosty.
You got thrown out of many Wendy's. That's what you got in common.
But at the time, Wendy's was new on the scene. Here we got Pete, many years later, making good use of that crown.
Deep.
What's so awesome to have grown up with Pete Sampras is to watch his game. From my point of view, I see very much the same player as when he was 10, just consistent. Now he just serves 130 miles an hour rather than 30 miles an hour. But he had such great strokes. Oh, that is just a great play. We're seeing some great Davis Cup play right now with Mark Philippoussis and Pete Sampras, both battling and hitting the ball as hard as you can hit. It's a nice 1-2 punch by Mark Philippoussis. First serve, first volley. Is the forehand return. Pete uses an Eastern to Continental grip, which gives him huge power, but it's a flat shot.
Philippoussis battles back. Game Australia. This Davis Cup Classic from 1997 rolls on. Brian Weber, Murphy, Jensen, Mike Side. USA, Australia, Philippoussis and Sampras.
It's been a story of Pete Sampras just owning the court. Takes a break between serves. Very smart thing to do.
Club 15.
He kind of rushed himself there and forgot to do the split step. When you serve and volley, as you're rushing in right as your opponent hits the ball, you want to split so you can get your feet under you. Pete did not do that at that point.
Earlier in 1997, in the World Team Cup on clay, Philippoussis defeated Sampras, in large part because in the third set, Pete had to retire, and they had split the first two.
It's a great stretch by Pete Sampras. Philippoussis is looking to get back in this match.
15 on.
That last game came up with some big shots. Pete's got an answer.
$30, 15.
Pete is looking to get as close to the net as possible, forcing Mark to hit lobs. Big guys like Pete, Mark want you to throw up a lob. It means you're going on the defense. They have enough confidence in their quickness to get back for overheads.
40, 15.
Big serve.
I mean, that is such a beautiful serve. He's giving Mark a lesson on serving. Mark's trying to just knock it through Pete, and Pete is hitting around Mark.
Another sharp serve, another game. Pete Sampras.
The United States lead 3-1.
3-1 in the second. Sampras on top after he cruised in the first set. In. No, but called long by one of the linesmen.
Club 15.
Mark's not too happy, even though he's smiling I think he knows. Now here, the Davis Cup,
mild arguments.
there's the ball traveling. Definitely out. Pete. Whatever he says. Mark Philippoussis is hoping to get a break. What's neat about Davis Cup is the player doesn't do the arguing with the umpire's chair. It's the captain.
Love 30.
Double fault, and that continues to plague Philippoussis in this rubber.
He's close to 10 double faults in this rubber, and that's just not going to cut it against a guy who's playing the best tennis of his life, Pete Sampras. Pete had that one on the run, loves the running
15
forehand, just didn't get under the ball enough.
More to tennis in Philippoussis' life, combining Australia and the United States' passion for surfing.
Now we've got Pete Sampras from California, but oh, Pete had a shot. Mark Philippoussis, when he went through his knee surgery and during his recovery, he said that surfing was the reason his knee got better. You know, maybe he didn't get up on that board much, but I think just paddling out, swimming in the ocean.
Aquatherapy.
Aquatherapy for the flipper.
That's out.
30-40.
Mark just seems a step slow to everything. Sweating bullets out there. Pete, cool as a cucumber. He's making shots.
Deuce.
Deuce.
Just got with the big missile. You know, that's a timing shot. You know, Mark Philippoussis has got to get his timing back on that serve, and he's hit and miss.
Literally in the service game. It's either an ace or nothing. And another long look. He's not pleased with the calls he's received in this game.
First serve.
Putting the leg court judge to work. That's a dangerous position to be in. Catch a return late. Many accidents have happened. You see that guy up there in the net with his finger on the net, feeling for anything, and sometimes they use electronic devices.
And Philippoussis.
With Pete just carving him up. Starts with the drop
Advantage
shot.
United States.
Puts Mark on the run.
Break opportunity, Pete Sampras and the USA. Another brilliant shot. Everything going Sampras' way. Up 4-1 in the second. We're coming back.
United States 4 games to 1.
Sampras continues to put it all together. Up 4-1 on Philippoussis, who had a meteoric rise in the mid-90s. You see the huge leap he made in the rankings.
Pete Sampras looking to close out this set.
15 love.
And there's his signature T-bone serve. You know, his wide one, if you're playing him, that's the one you really want to shut down. But if you're looking to shut down that one, you leave the back door, the T-bone. 132.
T-bone's been a prime cut this afternoon. Another winner.
You see on the court, there's a big shadow. It's going to be interesting if that's going to cause any distraction to Pistol Pete Sampras. Big shadow in the center of the net.
30 love.
Oh! That is a tag to the #1 player in the world,
13, 15.
possibly the greatest player of all time, and Mark Philippoussis comes up to the backhand side and just laces Pete.
Philippoussis did wave my bad. How big a
14,
breach of etiquette was that, then?
Well, that was the shot that Ivan Lendl would do when John McEnroe would cough one up, but they knowingly didn't like each other. They admitted to not being friends, and McEnroe thought he was a communist, and Lendl thought McEnroe was a fool. So,
Or another four-letter word.
I think
Game.
there's a lot of respect, but it's a great shot. There's the ace by Pete Sampras saying, if you're going to hit me, I'll hit you back
5 games to 1.
with a 132.
5-1 Sampras now.
It's great strategy because the player's looking to go either way. If you go right at them, you know, they usually don't have an answer no matter how fast your hands are.
Philippoussis needs an answer.
I mean, Pete Sampras has made maybe 4 unforced errors.
Love 15.
He is just on top of every ball. It is just awesome to watch him out here carve up one of the most powerful players in the game. Mark's still struggling on a serve.
Love 13.
Another double fault.
That has been a consistent problem in this rubber.
Pete's looking at the mark. Does a stare to the chair umpire saying, did you see that? He's feeling so good that probably inside he thinks,
31.
if I missed it, it's got to be a bad call. When you're playing this good, everything you touch really turns to gold. You don't have to think about anything. You're just out there playing. You're not worried about your technique. Then again, when you're playing so good,
14-13.
you might go for too much. You get big lead. Make a bad error there.
Have to fight that tendency to press. An ace! Philippoussis' forte gives him the game. 5-2 in the second. Philippoussis with the hold, still down 5-2 in the second to Pete Sampras, 1997. Sampras picking up an honor from the U.S. Olympic Committee, the first tennis performer to receive that prestigious award. Sampras trying to close out the set, starts in fine fashion. Sampras, 6'1", just 170 pounds, but generates so much torque and power in his service game. Another winner.
30 love.
That's
30-15.
We talked about Sampras's childhood on the East Coast, born in Washington, D.C., so a return to his birthplace. Had so much court with which to operate, but couldn't place it in cleanly. 30-all. Comes right back with the ace. Scorched down the tee at 125.
40-30.
Set point, USA.
Okay, second set.
Game in the set to Pete Sampras. Everything working for the USA. We're coming back. We picked this rubber up. Fourth game, third set. Philippoussis up 2-1. Sampras serving.
Great stick volley by Pete Sampras. The first serve, first volley. Bread and butter play. He's been rolling all match. Mark Philippoussis finally gets a breather, but luckily he's on serve. Pete gets his power from his legs on that serve. He's got amazing racket head speed. That's where the high numbers of miles per hour comes from.
Puts it away.
This Davis Cup crowd has a lot to be happy about.
40 love.
Coming out on this hot day. Seeing Pete just roll over Philippoussis so far.
After Chang battled through Rafter and the USA blessed with 2 of the top 5 players in the world.
Okay, United States.
Game USA.
It makes such a big difference to be playing on your home turf. The U.S. here in Washington, D.C. Got the hometown crowd. It's difficult for Aussies to make the trip. There's probably some consulate out there.
There's the winner.
The running forehand, and that was an awesome volley by Mark Philippoussis.
Love 15.
He comes in on the approach shot. Look how low he gets. His knee touches the ground. But Pete just answers with his signature running, swinging forehand. Great pickup on Mark Philippoussis.
15 on.
Looks like he's changed his game plan, saying, I've got to start getting in on this guy. Got to disrupt his rhythm. So he's just crashing the boards, getting into the net close.
30-15.
Boom that one.
And it's giving him some confidence, making a match of this.
30-15.
That serve, I think Pete broke a racket or a string. Heard it crack. Goes to the cooler. Yeah, a few strings broke. Keeps the rackets in those packages, the plastic, to keep the strings from getting loose, moisture getting in. You got gut. On a hot, humid day, it tends to loosen up. And Pete strings his rackets extremely tight.
They've been out there for just about an hour and 20 minutes at this stage. Moving briskly with so many winners and giant serves.
Australia leads 3-2.
Game Philippoussis up 3-2 in the third. In this third set, Philippoussis rounding into form after being smoked in the initial two sets. Sampras now trying to counter in his service game.
This match is shaped up to just what we thought it would be, but it took two sets to get there. A serving battle. Pete pointing at the ball boy or linesman.
15 now.
Great first serve. Makes Pete so good is that he's consistently showing up with huge serves.
And that consistency remains true.
30 love.
You know, in night matches at the U.S. Open, he's undefeated. That's the pistol Pete Sampras. He's there
40 love.
keeping the ball in play, just wearing Mark down. There's Mark Philippoussis with the great backhand, keeping it deep, moving around to hit the forehand. Just not enough.
Game, United States.
Another booming serve and another game for the USA.
Team USA's got to be happy. Captain Tom Gullickson, easy job. This match has been all Sampras. Serving great, moving Mark Philippoussis around. Finally, Mark Philippoussis is serving. You know, John Newcomb over there helping him out, giving him some strategy.
Blistering serve, Philippoussis.
That's a second serve ace on one of the best players ever to play this game. Pete Sampras looking just to put a racket on it. You know, he's really not trying to swing at these, as we said. He's just looking to block it back and play for the next shot.
Deep.
Mark Philippoussis starting to draw a little blood. Pete Sampras. working him around, dictating the points. Makes a big difference when you're dictating and making your opponent move around, creating the unforced errors. It's much tougher to hit on the run.
Looking for the love service game. And he's got it. Philippoussis raising his play in the third. Australia in front, 4-3. We're coming back. (4-3), Philippoussis in the third. Sampras looking to counter.
Philippoussis getting fired up after winning the exchange. There are two heavyweight players out here on the court. Both guys are amazing shot makers.
And for the better part of this rubber, Sampras, it seemed, was dictating the tempo. Now, Philippoussis making his presence felt.
It's a great second serve by Pete Sampras, getting it up high to the backhand. Mark Philippoussis, difficult to bring it down, as Mark showed us. But he's fighting, he's battling, like a true Aussie.
First serve.
National pride on the line in 1997.
Unbelievable pickup on the first volley by Pete Sampras. Serves Mark wide. Mark hits a great return. Pete is just too good right now. Just feeling everything. Mark looking to get in this match. Got to get this set or we're going home. Second serve, great opportunity. He'd like to move in maybe and take it early. It's a good setup play for Pete Sampras. Jam Mark with the serve. It's 30-15. You've got a point to throw away. Then go for it with the forehand.
Game points for Sampras.
Okay.
And he's got it in a hurry.
That's all she wrote. The Texas T-Bone is working wonders for Pete Sampras.
126 on the gun. Level at 4 in set number 3.
I would not like that job of the net court linesman. Dangerous position as we talk about.
Philippoussis in, and he's got it.
That's a great play. Setting up the point with the deep approach shot, sneaking his way in. Here's the approach shot, smashing it forehand. Then he hesitates, sneaks in. Open court volley. Keeping it simple, Mark Philippoussis.
Deep.
Mark has so many weapons to choose from. He's got a huge backhand. He's got big power on both wings. He's got to just find his rhythm on the serve. He's got a good game going here.
30-15.
That's an unforced error by Mark Philippoussis, but Pete Sampras constantly giving the pressure of great shots.
30-15.
Pete Sampras with the answer to the approach shot. Right back at the toes. There's Pete Sampras with the pass. Down at the toes of Mark Philippoussis. Very difficult to volley from down below. You always want to make a volley or hit up so you can hit down on passes. Great chance here for Mark Philippoussis to hold serve, stay in this Davis Cup epic match.
And he's got it. A significant hold of serve for Newcomb's team. Sampras back to serve when we come back to DC. Philippoussis up 5-4 in the third. The year following this matchup posted a career best in earnings.
The match is getting tight here in the third set. That's the play Mark Philippoussis wants to get going, is the chip in charge on Pistol Pete's weak side. Here's the backhand return, second serve, chips, moves forward, and creates an error.
And Sampras not pleased. Pete wants some clarification.
It's very controversial out there. Mark Philippoussis smiling, and
15.
Pete not too happy, even though he got the point.
Now here come the Aussies. And this is what makes Davis Cup play so unique. The team element.
The fan element. Everyone's screaming and yelling, giving their 2 cents. It sounds like a baseball game.
Rock and roll tennis.
Yeah, I like the rock and roll tennis.
I've heard that about you.
Yeah, I think Pete should maybe grow out the hair and throw in a ponytail and we'll get it going. Tightness. Pete Sampras dumping a volley.
Uncharacteristic error.
Pete likes to play with some rhythm, doesn't want any breaks, wants to control the match, put a stamp on a match.
Right back with the boomer.
And that he did. Everything he does out there is very calculated. And Mark is there guessing. You know, Pete serves so well that you have to guess. Forehand or backhand. You can't just play it up the middle through the pocket.
Aussie crowd trying to get involved.
The American crowd is like, we're winning. I don't know what you're talking about. John Newcomb smiling.
The approving look. Steely. But the second serve. What a shot there.
That was the point of the match. Mark Philippoussis tearing into a return. Here's Pete on a great serve. Mark rips it, gets over behind for the pass, and just threads the needle.
Break opportunity and set point. Philippoussis.
Oh, Mark Philippoussis is down.
Juice.
Pete Sampras. Bread and butter, 1-2 punch. First serve, first volley. Does not get rattled.
Deuce. Sampras puts it away.
Once again. He just moves on to the next point. He might lose a point, and Mark thinks he's got some momentum. He comes back. Consistency. And Mark mishit that return. Set up for an easy volley for Pete Sampras.
Advantage USA. Sampras emphatically fights off the break.
New ball, please. New ball.
The way he jumped up for that overhead. Got a lot of air on it. There's the first serve. Mark mishit that return. Set up an easy shot, but Pete there jumping. The slam dunk. Look at this athleticism. Unbelievable.
5 games all.
Well, Mark Philippoussis has cleaned up his game. He's playing the early points in the service game really sharp. Not giving up a loose error or a missed first serve. High percentage tennis. There's a rally from the ground. Mark has been successful by finding his way to the net, not by trying to outstroke Pete.
And that's his forte.
It's a great serve, a short angle, maybe took a little off the serve in terms of speed.
Didn't have to jump that time, but same result.
Yeah, he's getting the crowd into it. That's right. Pete Sampras. Who said this guy's boring? Pete Sampras knows what playing for the US of A is all about. Sending a souvenir ball into the crowd.
Crowd trying to become a factor in Washington, D.C.
That serve was smoking.
Quiet, please. Thank you.
Blistering return.
Look at Pete, the emotion. You will rarely see this out of Pete Sampras. Playing for his country. Here's the return. He sets it up nicely. A short backswing. Gives him all the time in the world, and there it is. Can you feel it?
The intensity of Davis Cup. Break chance.
He had a great opportunity there. This is the loudest the crowd has been. They see the finish line in this match for Pete Sampras.
Wow.
Mark Philippoussis.
Advantage.
He's a big man from Australia, serving 125 miles per hour in our nation's capital.
The power for the ad.
White, please.
Another deuce.
Advantage Australia.
Pete had a great opportunity there with the return. Snuck in on the chip, the slice backhand. Great split step there. And dumps the volley in the net. Caught it late. Got to be out in front on your volleys.
Game Australia. Philippoussis refuses to go away. Sampras needs to counter when we come back. This match continues to get tighter and tighter. 6-5, 1997, Titanic, a major payday. And this, a clash of Davis Cup titans.
Pete Sampras doesn't like that call. Mark Philippoussis is holding on for dear life, but you know, he's got a twinkle in his eye. He's smiling over there. See the call? That looked good.
I'm with you. That's definitely good.
Mark Philippoussis is now in striking distance of this third set. Notice Pete a little lazy on that shot. Still makes it. He really went the wrong way. He guessed to the left. Mark is left with the open court backhand winner. Nearly. John Newcomb.
15 seconds.
Can't believe it. This is where when tennis gets fun, when it's 5-6, love 30 down, and Pete Sampras hits a volley from his shoelaces to force Mark Philippoussis into a mistake. And there was another great first serve by Pete Sampras to tie this game up. 30 all.
30 all.
I mean, this set is exciting. You've got the two big guns firing on all cylinders.
And a major departure from the first two sets. Sampras continues to click.
Well, Pete is bleeding a little bit, but he's got a big lead, and where Philippoussis is bleeding to death. Sometimes you come up with some big shots when your back's to the wall.
Game point.
Mark Philippoussis is so strong. He's a much stronger athlete than Pete Sampras. So when he connects, when that ball comes back at that speed, it can wear you down. But Pete Sampras with Michael Chang cheering on us. That's what's so neat about Davis Cup. You've got all year long, you're trying to beat each other and take each other up for the races, the Masters race, the ranking race. And out here, you just cheer each other on and coach each other.
Add for game points. And that's it. A tiebreaker will decide this set. Tiebreak, 1st to 7, must win by 2.
That's Pete Sampras coming through in the clutch. It's a great first serve. And here's the approach shot. Nice and deep, forcing Pete to hit a shot, but Mark didn't follow his shot, cover the line, man. My theory is the player with the biggest serve has the advantage. The problem is both of these servers have huge heat. Bad unforced error.
Who will be hotter when it counts the most?
That's a big point for Pete Sampras, keeping it even on serve. That's going to be 1 serving 2. Mark Philippoussis serving. Mark took a huge crack at that pass, but had no chance. Maybe going for too much on that shot, but Pete Sampras, being up 2 sets to love, can take those chances. He's up 2-1 in that point. He gets a forehand, he's going to go for it. Sampras slips for the first time, really. Still on serve. But he had a great opportunity with the second serve. Could have come up, sliced it deep. That's footwork. When you miss a ball, an approach shot in the net like that. John Newcomb's fired up.
Sampras.
Change sides. Pete Sampras, bread and butter serve and volley game. Look at that Aussie team. You know what Nuke's saying? First serves, hold serve, man. The crowd is going nuts, chanting USA.
On a steamy September afternoon in Washington, D.C., the action warming up.
Next.
3-0.
It's a great second serve. Pete Sampras, his second serve is so big, and when it hits the ground, it almost gains speed. Hits it with a lot of spin, and it rises as it comes off the court.
Speaking of heat,
Pete taking a look at the mark. Not too sure about that one. Tied at 4-all in the tiebreaker. Third set, Philippoussis to serve.
and he serves flawlessly.
John Newcomb, what did you tell him, buddy?
5-4.
Pet Raptor on his toes over there saying, Mark, come through for us, buddy. We're down a point. There's Patrick McEnroe over there in the tunnel, hanging out with the boys. Star cast. Oh, that was nice. Sampras.
Even better.
Even better. It's 5-all, 110 miles an hour. The second serve. Some players, if you know it, you've got to go for it. Pete likes his chances better going for it than he does hanging back and throwing in a meatball.
United States.
Second serves deadly in this tiebreak. And now, match point Sampras. Crowd on its feet in Washington, D.C.
Pete's got the look of Dirty Harry. There we go, Pete Sampras, match point. Team USA.
It's a win for the Stars and Stripes. Sampras victorious.
Michael Chang. The tennis fans, this place is going nuts. Gentlemen, you've seen a classic. Pete Sampras, Team USA, 6-1, 6-2, 7-6.
Another look at match point in a sensational Davis Cup Classic.
Pete Sampras has never felt so good. People screaming. Mark Philippoussis, though. There comes the music. This is Captain America today. Pete Sampras hugging his coach, Tom Gullickson, the captain. Everyone in tennis in America is proud.
There goes the shirt. Credit Philippoussis for a nice comeback to make the third set competitive.
You know, he really fought back. It took him 2 sets to find his game. The story was the first 2 sets did not have his serve going. There's his trainer, Todd Snyder. Everyone patting Pete on the back.
Adulation for the crowd.
And that's the best. You know, the teammates, Davis Cup, but Philippoussis fought like a gladiator from Australia.